From the same author and world of Legend of Exorcism, this new danmei features the hijinks of an extremely lucky exorcist without any exorcist powers, aside from the ability to glow a little bit, and the man destined to be his protector and lifelong companion, who wants nothing to do with him. Introducing Dinghai Fusheng Records. What's up guys, it's Kictor, and I'm back with my beautiful fiancé Stitch to talk about a new danmei, which is in the same universe as Legend of Exorcism and is written by Fei Tian.
Yeah, I wouldn't consider it a prequel directly, but it does take place beforehand.
Cool. Before we begin, I'd like to thank you guys for joining us on another danmei book club, and if you'd like to get a danmei book club shirt or mug, be sure to go to kictor.com. Hot boys,
These are our protagonists.
Chen Xing and mysterious handsome man, fate-assigned boyfriend.
I guess we'll see.
Which is the one who glows?
Chen Xing.
Okay.
Both Yao and exorcists used to be commonplace in this world, but 300 years before our story begins, all magic disappeared. Exorcists no longer have any power, ceasing to be, and while Yao continue to exist, they have no spiritual energy on which to feed, so they have retreated from the mortal world. But that has not made the world a more peaceful place. Resentment, a negative energy created when a human dies painfully or with regret, can take the form of a demon after death. 30 million people have died from war, plague, and famine over these centuries without magic. And from these deaths, Mara, the demon of death and darkness from Buddhist mythology, may be born into the world in a matter of years. Chen Xing, as bearer of the heart lamp, is the last exorcist at only 16 years old.
The heart lamp?
Yeah, we know the heart lamp.
We know the heart lamp.
Yeah, Hongzhen has the heart lamp.
Okay.
In addition to the power of the heart lamp, which he has not yet used to exercise, he has extremely powerful luck because he was born under the blessing of Jupiter. Consider him the anti-Xiaolian, as many antics will ensue with his improbable luck as the punchline.
So he's got good luck.
Yes. We start off at the beginning of Chen Xing's journey as an exorcist to find his fated other half, his protector martial god. In the past, all great exorcists were accompanied in life and death by a powerful martial companion who would protect them during their exorcisms. Chen Xing has just left home after his Shifu's passing, having received a dream that his protector martial god is in the city of Xiangyang. He has very little time left to make a difference in the world because he is destined to die at 20 years old.
No!
I know! Isn't that crazy to have for a
Yes.
protagonist right off the bat? It's like, what's gonna happen? Is he gonna die? Jupiter is like, love you, but only till you're 20. Then get out of here.
Damn. That feel when your fated protector is in a little bit of trouble with the law.
Of course.
He was the best guy around.
What about the people he murdered?
What murder?
That's gonna be Chen Xing in a little bit.
Got it. Okay.
There's just one little additional problem. Xiangyang City has been under siege for a year. Although Chen Xing's luck makes it a piece of cake to sneak into the city, he happens to arrive on the eve of the enemy's final attack. The city is in chaos, preparing for a final stand. Morale is low, and the governor doesn't believe in his identity or story whatsoever. But the mayor goes along with this supposed wizard showing up in his city in the hopes that some showy magic trick will boost morale. Unfortunately, Chen Xing is only of one mindset, finding his protector before the fighting begins, only for the heart lamp to lead him to a man at death's door in the city dungeons. Xiang Shu is sick and starving, all but forgotten as the city prepares for war, but he was originally sentenced to death row after supposedly massacring 2,000 innocent people.
Pretty serious offense.
I would say so.
What murder?
Well, a little bit. Or has he been framed? Don't know. Not only that, but Xiang Shu is ethnically Hu at a time when there has been long-standing conflict between the Hu tribes and the Han people of China. This seems like it's going to be a central theme in the story, so I'll go into a little bit more detail taken from the supplementary information at the back of the book. The Han dynasty took place from 202 BCE to 220 CE and is considered a golden age of China, resulting in the Han name being passed down to the people, culture, and language that stemmed from it. Hu is a historical term for non-Han people, often associated specifically with the horseback riders from the steppes to the north and west of the Central Plains. Sometimes the term is simply translated as barbarians. Regardless of the name or terminology used, these outsiders make a convenient antagonist in multiple historical novels. You may recognize the concept of barbarian horsemen from Ballad of Sword and Wine and Stars of Chaos, for example. While these danmei novels are steeped in real history, literature, and culture, we know as readers that they take a lot of liberties to tell a dramatic, romantic story, and often include fantastical elements. With that in mind, I'll continue to refer to the Hu as they exist in the narrative of this specific story, but it's important to take these limited portrayals of steppe culture with a grain of salt, because they are indeed based on real ethnicities that continue to exist today. Anyways, Chen Qing gives his newfound protector medical care and waits for him to wake up, only for the city to literally go up in flames as the enemy attacks. A series of hijinks ensues. First, he prevents the invading soldiers from discovering the immobile Xiang Shu by hiding him under the bed and pretending to hang himself in the room, which was off-putting to the ransacking soldiers, to say the least. They just walk into the room and dead body is hanging there. Then he puts himself and Xiang Shu on a horse to escape the city, but Xiang Shu falls off without him noticing. He goes back and ties him onto the horse, but the horse then runs away. And in the act of trying to find Xiang Shu again, he somehow manages to drive a cart of flaming oil into the enemy encampment and kill all the enemy generals in one fell swoop without getting a single scratch himself.
Wow. Okay. Because of his good luck.
Yes,
I see,
exactly.
I see.
But Chen Qing is none the wiser about his impact on the battle. He simply tracks down Xiang Shu, still tied to the horse, and escapes to a nearby abandoned village to rest and recover for the night. As soon as he unties Xiang Shu, he finds the man recovered enough to immediately knock him out and escape without a single word. Chen Qing wakes up absolutely incensed that his protector is such a bastard. He feeds a stray dog, gaining a more loyal companion.
Wow.
Warning, do not get attached to that dog.
No!
Yeah, we'll get to that. Anyways, his luck soon sends a fancy carriage along his path. The rich family inside sees his genteel looks and gives him a ride, and Chen Qing is even given a payment of silver and roasted chicken for performing acupuncture on the ailing head of the household. As we've seen, no matter his misfortune, he's always able to make a quick rebound due to his supernatural luck. He is dropped off in my city, where he's able to get some fresh clothes and go to the bank to exchange his money, only to find Xiang Shu there in the process of robbing it. Chen Qing wastes no time calling the cops on him, but immediately regrets it when Xiang Shu is surrounded by soldiers. What if, as his reputation would suggest, he kills them all? But Xiang Shu manages to take them all out by using the gold coins as weapons and escape without committing any murder.
Wow.
Plus, Chen Qing soon learns that the bank in question was a shady institution that had harmed many people with its greedy practices. So maybe ethically okay to rob. I'm not really sure what the takeaway was from that, but okay, maybe some discretion was used. Chen Qing is determined to head north after his protector, but word is that the road has been taken over by thieves, so it's very dangerous to travel. What is he gonna do?
Oh, okay. Feng Qiangjun can get it. Is it because this guy is, sexy?
He's pretty sexy.
Sure, I just met this stranger on the street who told me that he kills people for a living, but he also told me his exact dick size, and that makes him a trustworthy friend. Changqing, essentially. I have heard that the man in this story may have the biggest Danmei dick other than Lo Binghe.
I don't know if it's this guy, though. I don't think it's this guy.
Okay.
So I'm assuming that it's Xiang Shu's dick is probably ginormous. And it's not, I don't know, I think my concept of dicks is so skewed from Danmei and Yaoi that I have no idea where it ranks in terms of size, so
okay.
You'll just have to find out. Anyways, we're making friends here. So, thankfully, Changqing happens to strike up a friendship with a martial artist named Feng Qianjian. His face is covered with a bamboo hat, and he appears a little scruffy, but he has an unexpectedly chivalrous, refined aura about him. I mean, I wrote that, and then he started talking about his dick, so I don't know how refined he really is, but he's exactly the type of friendly, humorous person that Changqing wishes to have as a protector, which makes it especially shocking that he claims to be an assassin by trade. Except he hasn't killed anyone yet, so a rookie assassin... Maybe, an aspiring assassin, if you will. So the two of them hit the road together along with the dog, which Chen Qing has named Xiang Shu.
Which is the name of the other guy, right?
Yep.
Okay.
They're traveling along the cliffs, and suddenly a corpse falls right into their path. Yeah, even after investigating, they are unable to discern the cause of death or who may have thrown it down, seemingly as a warning to not proceed further. Thus, they spend their first night together, not without its own homoerotic overtones. Chen Qing casually feels up Feng Qiangjun's body out of casual interest, given his training in acupuncture.
Yes.
As one does.
Mm-hmm.
And he responds by telling him his exact dick length in inches.
Which is?
It's just like, imagine you're like feeling up bro, and he's like, whoa, I think you should know my dick size before we continue any further. Like, he's absolutely making like a joke like, bro, what are you doing? Just under 4 inches under normal circumstances, but 9 inches when at attention. So he's a grower. And the difference between those two numbers was horrifying to me personally. I didn't realize that it could be such a dramatic shift, and that quite frankly, is nightmarish to me to even comprehend. I'm so glad that dicks are only fictional and don't exist in real life, because that is weird.
Oh my god.
So you may be wondering, how on earth do you respond to something like that? It's very easy when you're Chengxing. It just kind of goes over your head. You just don't even get the reference. He's too distracted by feeling him up because he is physically able to tell that Feng Qiangjun is not an assassin by trade. He just doesn't have all the muscles in the right places, which means that he is lying about who he really is. And then Chengxing is like, well, none of my business, and doesn't really ask him about it.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, but we'll get to his identity later. While Feng Qiangjun is guarding the campsite that night, they are attacked by undead soldiers, which, funny enough, we also encountered in Volume 2 of Legend of Exorcism. So I wonder if there's anything connected between them, kind of same concept going on. But anyways, he almost dies because Chengxing is a comically deep sleeper, but the two of them do manage to escape alive due to the timely arrival of Xiang Shu, who seems to be quite the expert at beheading these zombies.
Nice.
Chengxing chases after his protector all the way to a nearby village that is completely deserted, its occupants long since transformed into zombies. In the village cemetery, he finds a mysterious sorcerer in the act of raising the ancient warrior prince Sima Wei from the dead using resentful energy. Which is a lot. Chaos ensues as everyone tries to work together to stop the resurrection ritual while fighting off a horde of undead minions. Eventually, Chengxing figures out that his heart lamp not only repels the undead, but also seems to work in sync with Xiang Shu's sword, allowing them to vanquish the sorcerer, although Sima Wei disappears. After that unique bonding experience, the three of them agree to travel to Chang'an together.
Okay, I think I'm still hung up a little bit on bro is in bed. Chengxing starts feeling up bro. I'm an acupuncturist. I'm 9 inches hard. Bros.
I feel like this author just loves to write
Cock.
that and like just how gay friendship can be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or maybe just like all men are inherently a little bit gay. Maybe it's because the protagonist just has those magical pheromones, beauty, sort of endearing innocence about them. Everyone who meets him is just kind of hitting on him a little bit, but that is just how we roll.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yes, Fei Tian is just that kind of guy, and which is kind of refreshing because I feel like usually you only get, okay, this is the main parent and only they are allowed to flirt with each other, nobody else.
Yep.
Not Fei Tian. He's like, everyone's gay. And we're going to see the extent of how gay everyone is.
Okay.
Yes. Anyways, after that unique bonding experience, the three of them agree to travel to Chang'an together. For reference, this is also where much of Legend of Exorcism takes place. Chang'an is currently ruled by a Hu emperor, and the city itself remains a peaceful oasis where both Hu and Han people live in harmony. During this journey, Xiang Shu is still very standoffish towards Chengxing, but he clearly favors him over Feng Qiangjun, which he doesn't like at all. There seems to be a little bit of wariness between them as potential rivals, but whether that has more to do with their martial capabilities or their relationships to Chengxing, it's hard to say. At any rate, Chengxing asks once again if Xiang Shu will be his protector, but is forced to give up when he once again refuses. This is especially demoralizing because Chengxing not only takes his duties as the last exorcist to heart, but he is also haunted by the fact that he has less than 4 years to live, and more than anything, he wishes he could have a dear companion for that time. Xiang Shu is giving off some mixed messages, though. Feng Qiangjun parts ways with them in Chang'an, taking custody of the dog, but surprisingly, Xiang Shu sticks with Chengxing for a while longer, letting Chengxing buy him new clothes and take him to a bathhouse. Go in the bathhouse together.
Oh?
Like, I don't know.
Oh?
Yeah.
Does anything happen in the bathhouse?
Oh, probably, but nothing too crazy.
My fucking god, these bitches gay. Good for them. Good for them. In classic Fei Tian Yi Xiang style, more than 2 gay people are allowed to exist in this world. But at what cost? We were just talking about that.
Yeah. And believe me, every character. it's like every eligible, beautiful young man, gay.
Okay.
As they should be. So, Xiang Shu even accompanies him to a childhood friend's house. Yuan Xin has Hu lineage, but he received a Han education aside Chengxing, and the two of them were very close and affectionate in their youth. with Yuan Shen even asking Chen Qing to be his bride. It's been years since they last saw each other, but Chen Qing still cherishes those memories of his youth and thinks highly of his dear friend, so we overlook some obvious signs that things may have changed. The servants don't know him and treat him rudely, and the two of them are kept waiting for Yuan Shen to return home, despite him being home the entire time.
Ooh.
When Chen Qing practically forces his way into the main house, Yuan Shen subtly deflects his excited hug into a nice handshake, and claims to have not received his letters over the years.
Ooh.
Now, a beautiful young man holding the very high title of Commander of the Imperial Guard is also there, Tuo Bayan, and for some reason he's very flustered looking at Chen Qing, making everything even more awkward. Chen Qing is also disappointed when Yuan Shen doesn't even offer him a place to stay and basically sends him on his way without so much as a cup of tea or even rising from his seat to say goodbye.
Huh.
Isn't that so rude?
Very rude.
That hurt my feelings. Anyways, neither of them have any money left for an inn, but Chen Qing's luck immediately comes into play. A carriage comes rolling down the street and out steps Tuo Bayan of all people to invite them over to his place. Chen Qing is delighted, but Xiang Shu places a hand on his shoulder and flatly refuses the offer. It's interesting, okay? Because Tuo Bayan had a little bit of like blushy eye contact,
Yeah.
And Xiang Shu is not about that. Again, there's this awkward situation.
I'm sensing a harem.
Let Chen Qing have a harem. Again, there's this awkward situation Chen Qing can't make sense of, but Tuo Bayan instead gives him a wildly expensive ring off his own hand and is like, call me later.
Ooh.
Like, overtly hitting on him.
Yeah.
So, Xiang Shu takes over the task of finding a place to stay the night because he ixnayed that.
Men be like, I know a spot, and then break into the Imperial Palace, leaving a trail of unconscious guards in their wake. That's funny.
Yeah, so about getting a place to stay for the night. Chen Qing follows along none the wiser as Xiang Shu breaks into the Imperial Palace, dispatching guards in all sorts of non-lethal ways as Chen Qing slowly grows more and more alarmed at the wealth and splendor around them and the sheer amount of unconscious bodies left in their wake. Tuo Bayan, by the way, is clocking into work around this time as the cry of assassins disrupts the entire palace, because when people break in, it's usually to kill the emperor, and it's not just Xiang Shu looking for a place to stay. Xiang Shu is completely unfazed and even demands to see the emperor. It's at this point that Xiang Shu's true identity is revealed. He holds the title of the Great Shan Yu, the leader of the 5 Hu tribes and countless other peoples beyond the Great Wall.
Okay.
He's actually a big deal. He has been investigating the undead drought fiends for over a year, ever since an entire Hu tribe was killed and turned into these undead monsters. I'm pretty sure that's kind of where the massacred village comes into play. It's like he's the only guy there, but it's because he was investigating.
Right.
He chased the sorcerer behind these killings across the country until he himself was captured and thrown into the dungeon where he was found by Chen Qing. And he's still very committed to solving this mystery, which is how he and Chen Qing kept running into each other afterwards. The Emperor seems to be total bros with Xiang Shu, but he doesn't seem to care about this zombie problem, or perhaps he simply doesn't believe in it. After this huge reveal, Chen Qing finally has some answers about Xiang Shu, but their relationship is still pretty rocky. Xiang Shu isn't so much as cold and silent now, but displays a rather high-handed personality due to his status, expecting Chen Qing to fall in line accordingly. But there's not much that can scare Chen Qing with his looming mortality, so while he agrees to work on this case as an exorcist, he refuses to be ordered around like a servant.
Okay.
So far, it's taken a really long time for them to warm up to each other, but there's still some juicy tension.
Fellas, is it gay to legalize gay marriage? I mean, yeah, kinda, if you really want to marry a man about it.
Yeah, so you know how we were talking about how there's so many gay people in this world? That includes the Emperor.
Oh, okay.
Chen Qing's first... But we'll get to that in a second. Chen Qing's first order of business is to investigate old records in the Ministry of Works, and to do so he seeks out Tuo Bayan to accompany him. At this point, it becomes very clear to not only the reader but to Chen Qing himself that Tuo Bayan is interested in him romantically and wants to marry him.
Nice.
Gay marriage is a bit too far for Chen Qing's sensibilities, and he immediately protests at the idea in general, but he learns a lot about how times are changing. You see, the current emperor, Fu Jian, is Hu, and the Hu are described as being very liberal about marriage. Not only that, but Fu Jian is trying to get gay marriage legalized in the predominantly Han country because he himself is ardently in love with a man, the brother of his favorite concubine, Princess Qing He, who he's also in love with. This setup with the emperor and a brother and sister sounds so familiar to me that I think it might be based on a real historical event, but I'm not sure. So maybe if someone can think of what I'm thinking of and let me know. It's driving me crazy. Anyways, despite there being a lot of pushback about broadly legalizing gay marriage, the emperor's romantic interest in a man has made it very trendy over the past few years for other high-ranking officials and aristocrats to become sworn brothers and essentially be married, with these relationships being held in high esteem. With all of that in mind, Tuo Bayan doesn't find it too crazy to be looking at Chen Qing as husband material. He even thought that Chen Qing might already be Xiang Shu's wife. Chen Qing overcomes his initial horror and tries to be more open-minded. Good for him.
I love how he's like, why is everyone thinking I'm the wife?
It's true, and one of his responses to that is like, wait a second, actually, why am I the wife? He could be the wife.
Yeah.
So, maybe he'd be fine being gay married as long as he wasn't the wife. Meanwhile, Xiang Shu is also dealing with the trickle-down gaynomics of the emperor's proclivities.
Trickle-down gaynomics.
Thank you, I was hoping that would get a chuckle.
You're so funny.
It's mostly for me, I'm chuckling. He is being swamped with marriage proposals from every noble family trying to throw their eligible sons and daughters at him. The Hu custom of courtship is to pour tea to show one's interest in marriage and to drink the tea to return the interest, essentially as good as an engagement. So he's surrounded by a bunch of teas that he has refused to drink when Yuan Shen, of all people, shows up and throws himself at him, proclaiming his admiration for Xiang Shu and his desire to marry him. Now, Xiang Shu treated the other marriage offers with a bare minimum of respect, but when he sees Chen Qing's childhood friend who betrayed him, he literally kicks him out and threatens to exile his whole family. Like, Yuan Shen has done nothing to him personally.
Yeah.
But maybe he's a little protective of Chen Qing's hurt feelings. Like what is that about? How can he be so standoffish to Chen Qing and then do something like that? Like, what is going on inside his brain?
Yeah.
So I don't know what's going on there. But then Princess Qing He waltzes in because she's bros with Xiang Shu, and she tries to feel out how attached he is to Chen Qing by doing a little matchmaking between him and her cousin Tuo Bayan. He's like, hey, Chen Qing, Tuo Bayan, seem like they could be a good pair. Any objections? And he's like, no objections. Xiang Shu doesn't take the bait and claims that Chen Qing is merely a servant. The two of them aren't close at all, and he doesn't have an opinion on it, which kind of contradicts what we just saw, so yeah. I don't buy it.
POV, you accidentally walk into a room of martial artists planning to commit treason.
So, meanwhile, Chen Qing discovers what he's looking for on a map he finds in the Ministry of Works records, the location of the Chang'an Department of Exorcists from hundreds of years ago, which, again, appears in Legend of Exorcism as well. Although the department itself is long gone now, perhaps there is still storage underground with information that can help him save the world from overflowing with resentment. He follows the map all the way to the luxurious Songbai residence, which coincidentally is where his buddy Feng Qianzhen said he was staying. There's a protective array to keep people out, but as a trained exorcist, it's like first grade at Chen Qing, so he just walks right in and wanders around until he finds someone to talk to. Except he walks into a meeting of martial artists planning to overthrow the emperor. As it turns out, Feng Qianzhen's older brother is the leader of this rebellion, and the Feng family is the head of an underground intelligence organization, immensely wealthy from its banking operations, and also has exorcists in its lineage as well. Chen Qing would have been killed on the spot if it weren't for Feng Qianzhen claiming him as one of the rebels. It's like, don't worry guys, he's one of us. And Chen Qing, about to book it. Ah, yes, of course. Afterwards, Chen Qing tries to explain himself to the brothers and asks if he can investigate the spot where the department once stood. The eldest brother, Feng Qianyi, agrees to help him, but then tries to persuade Chen Qing towards his cause. Turns out his help is strictly conditional. Chen Qing firmly believes that an exorcist should not get involved in civil affairs and does not wish to walk the path of revenge, so he refuses. Feng Qianyi counters that sentiment with, well, what about your parents? Haven't you ever wanted to avenge your parents after Yuan Shen had them executed? Chen Qing's entire world is rocked. He did not know that information. Because he was separated from his parents during the fall of Jinyang City and only knew that they died, after which he was raised by his grandmother and later his Shifu. But somehow his childhood best friend is responsible for getting his parents killed.
That's why it was a little awkward.
Probably. Can you imagine if he assumed that Chen Qing knew this whole time?
Yeah.
So yes, I'm not sure if that was how much of that was supposed to be a secret or not, but it seemed like common knowledge to that guy.
Yeah.
It happened out in the open, but just Chen Qing wasn't there, didn't know about it. So yeah, he definitely hadn't considered revenge until that point.
Mm-hmm.
But also, like, we don't get more information about what that was actually about. So, like, we don't get more information about that during this volume. So I wonder if it's going to come up later or if that's just where it's going to land.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, before anything else can happen, Xiang Shu arrives with 1,000 soldiers, all but laying siege on the Songhai residence just to pick up Chen Xing. It's kind of gay. Somehow he is aware of the traitors plotting to overthrow the emperor, and so he is furious that Chen Xing sought them out, assuming that everything he said about being an exorcist was just a lie. Then, on their way back to the palace, Chen Xing's carriage is attacked by a Yao that looks like a shadow wearing black armor. Xiang Shu protects him, and they manage to escape, but the Yao remains undefeated because Chen Xing doesn't know how to exorcise anything with the heart lamp. As far as he's concerned, he has all the magic powers of a glow stick. Anyways, this near-death experience does nothing to abate Xiang Shu's anger. He drags Chen Xing back to their shared sleeping quarters in the palace. By the way, they've been sharing a bedroom this whole time. Not the same bed, but the same bedroom. And he grabs him by the throat, accusing him of his lies and demanding to know the truth. What he doesn't expect is for Chen Xing to stubbornly tell him, "Fine, fucking kill me then," and break down crying over how his entire family is dead. Like, the emotions caught up to him then. He's just like, I don't fucking care. Sure, I lied. Whatever. I believe what you want to believe. Oh, everyone's dead. And he's just sobbing as he's, like, mid-choking him out. And then this is enough for even Xiang Shu to feel a shred of pity for him. So he backs off for the time being. He's just like, what the hell? Which is my favorite Uno reverse situation. So after having his cry, Chen Xing just crawls into bed, facing away from him, and goes to sleep. Relatable king that he is.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
Like, that discussion had no resolution. It was just a comedic breakdown.
Magic lamp, magic mirror, magic sword, etc., etc., etc.
Considering there's no magic in the world, there's a lot of fucking magical objects. Okay.
It's like you're starting off the novel being like, yeah, no magic. And then as you're writing it, you're like, oh, fuck, we need some magic.
Kind of. It's like the workaround is like, okay, no magic. But there's resentful energy, which is basically magic. And there's a heart lamp, which is just magic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So between that,
Still no magic.
no magic. Okay. So after that, they are somewhat at a truce. Xiang Shu believes that Chen Xing is an exorcist and is willing to work with him to figure out a solution to the drought fiends, even though he refuses the role of protector. Feng Qianzhan meets with the two of them out of concern for Chen Xing after the mysterious assassination attempt, agreeing to secretly help them enter the residence again to investigate the former Department of Exorcism. He's not revenge-pilled the way his older brother is, but he doesn't really have a choice but to support the cause, because that's his brother. Mm-hmm. When Chen Xing enters the secure storerooms of the Feng family filled with immense wealth, he detects resentful energy and wonders if it may be influencing Feng Qianyi, the older brother. At any rate, what's behind the final locked door may be dangerous, so he insists that Xiang Shu just temporarily promise to protect him and listen to him for once. They enter the room and discover that the ancient records excavated from the site are totally unsalvageable from age and the elements. They search through all of them to no avail and finally arrive at a locked cabinet. Despite their caution in opening it, the resentful energy inside is so immensely powerful that it catches them all off guard. The palm-sized hand mirror inside creates a swirling vortex of black energy that sucks them inside. We all know what happens when you get sucked into a mirror, right?
You go into the mirror world.
Right! You go into the mirror world!
And that's when the Mario Kart course is backwards.
It is reversed, yes. Usually the mirror world doesn't...
He has the big dick.
It's not quite that reversed. Usually the mirror world doesn't have 100,000 living corpses in it, but this one does.
Okay.
And they chase our heroes all around the reversed city of Chang'an as it existed hundreds of years ago in the Han Dynasty. There's like a really long-winded explanation on how this like magically works out without there being magic, but we already had that conversation. There's even shadow warriors like the one that attacked Chen Xing's carriage. One in particular is noted as being in charge of the others and quite handsome, which makes me think of the Ghost King in Legend of Exorcism.
Right.
But it might not be the same guy because there seems to be multiple guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like there was Sima Wei, and then there's this guy, and I think there's like 7 of them total. I don't know. It seems that someone figured out how to activate this magical artifact with resentful energy and is using it to store the living corpses and refine them into stronger soldiers. At any rate, because this mirror world is actually a replica of the past, it contains the Department of Exorcism with all of its records intact.
Nice.
I really love that twist.
That's hilarious.
Chenxing is able to find documents that describe an object capable of unleashing spiritual qi back into the world. The Dinghai Pearl.
Oh, this is the records.
Yeah.
Oh shit! It was the Mirror World Library.
I guess.
It could have been called Mirror World Library.
He also finds documents about the heart lamp and how to use it, which comes in clutch when Feng Qianzhen's spiritual sword is corrupted by resentful energy and overtakes him.
Okay.
As one does. It's kind of like that sword they pulled from the Tortoise of Slaughter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same thing. To escape the mirror world, they find the mirror within the mirror world, and Chenxing is able to safely activate it using the lamp to guard his heart against the resentful energy. They crash land in the Emperor's palace because while they were away, the dog Xiang Shu grabbed the mirror from Feng Qianyi and ran off with it.
Oh my god.
And simultaneously, the Emperor discovered that human Xiang Shu was missing and ordered to search for him. The guards looking for a human Xiang Shu correctly assumed they were looking for a human, but then discovered that the Feng household was issuing a huge search for a dog named Xiang Shu. So they also started looking for a dog and returned said dog to the Emperor.
No!
Who, as you can imagine, was deeply exasperated.
We got the guy you're looking for. Woof.
It's very funny too, because like it's kind of hard it's like a hard joke to make when like it's in a translation, but it's like, yeah, you said you were looking for a fellow named Xiang Shu, not like a man named Xiang Shu or a creature named Xiang Shu.
Yeah.
Just a fellow named Xiang Shu. And you know who's a fellow? A dog. Dog is a little fella. But because of all that, the mirror ended up in the hands of Princess Qing He, who is the only person present when they crash land back into the real world. Hooray! Except she's evil.
Oh.
Yeah, she's actually the mastermind behind all of this corpse fuckery and the mirror and all of that, wanting to take revenge for her family or something. She takes Chenxing hostage, and the dog dies unsuccessfully trying to save him.
No!
I know. How can you do that?
Mean.
I know. Xiang Shu ends up killing the princess just as the emperor arrives. He's like, fuck you killed our dog.
Yeah.
Not really how, but it was a little justified. But yeah, Xiang Shu ends up killing the princess just as the emperor arrives, which is not a good look. And the emperor quite reasonably does not want to hear him out, so our protagonists are forced to flee and take shelter in a random residence as the city goes into lockdown looking for them. Perhaps due to Chenxing's luck, this residence just so happens to belong to Tuobayan. Chenxing takes a huge risk by revealing himself and explaining what happened, but surprisingly, Tuobayan believes him and agrees to assist him in proving their innocence to the emperor. Not because of his crush, but because of the insanely huge threat of the 100,000 corpses in the mirror.
Yeah.
Yeah, priorities. Feng Qianzhen, who was knocked unconscious exiting the mirror and thus failed to escape, is now set to be executed for the death of Princess Qing He, but they are beaten to the punch by Feng Qianyi, who is not motivated by brotherly love, but the desire to use the power of the saber of harmony in life by corrupting Feng Qianzhen with resentful energy. He unleashes a storm of resentment and a horde of corpse soldiers from the yin-yang mirror upon the execution grounds. In the chaos, Xiang Shu protects Chenxing and is able to attack Feng Qianyi using arrows enhanced by the light of the heart lamp. He helps Chenxing seal back the mirror so that he can reverse the effects and reseal the resentment. The corpses are another matter. They can't return to the mirror and are overrunning the city. Xiang Shu, out of his own unabashed bravery and sense of justice, charges into the fray to take out as many as he can and rescue the civilians. Chenxing is worried sick over him and chases after, using the power of the heart lamp to ward off the corpses and help lead civilians to safety outside the city.
Okay.
Yeah, so things are heating up.
Magic medicine that will definitely not kill your dad and turn him into a zombie. From the mysterious doctor rolling into town. And the 15-year-old Xiang Shu.
Yes.
Oh no.
Yeah, a little bit of tragic backstory. We're gonna get to understand why he's so interested in figuring out the mystery behind these drought fiends. So, after all that, the emperor and his ministers and generals all gathered together outside of Chang'an, and after everything that's happened with the corpses and the sorcerer and the mirror, the emperor is willing to hear their explanation of everything going on. After Chengxing and Xiang Shu say their piece, the emperor accepts it and pardons them for the time being so that they can all work together to capture Feng Qianyi, get evidence that Princess Qing He was involved in this rebellion, and retake the city of Chang'an. At this time, Xiang Shu shares something with Chengxing that he doesn't tell the emperor. When he was 15 and his father was severely ailing, a mysterious doctor by the name of Kajira appeared and gave his father a medicine that was supposed to be a miracle cure. After the doctor left, his father died in a matter of days and his body started to transform into a living corpse.
No.
Only by burning the body was he able to be saved from becoming a drought fiend. Yeah, tragic backstory. Xiang Shu has been searching for that so-called doctor ever since. That's why he's been pursuing the mystery behind the drought fiends for so long.
Something's not right. We're almost finished with the first volume, and there's still no boner.
Or is there?
Incoming!
Incoming! Coming in! Chengxing approaches the imperial palace alone under the pretense of talking to Feng Qianyi, but he carries with him the yin yang mirror, inside of which Xiang Shu, Feng Qianzhan, and Tuoba Yan lay in wait. This is such a good trick, okay? Chengxing activates the mirror and the three of them leap out and start attacking the shadow warriors surrounding Feng Qianyi, who's busy rambling about the return of his lord and how his unnamed lord will build an everlasting kingdom of undead, yada yada yada. Typical villain stuff. When Feng Qianzhan gets close to him, he corrupts him with resentful energy, which causes black, thorny vines to appear and wrap around the others. We are so close to the end of the book at this point that I was just beginning to muse, wow, there has been a shocking absence of boners in this book, considering the author especially. But sure enough, when Chengxing and Xiang Shu are squeezed together tightly, the great Chan Yu pops a mighty boner. And that is the scene depicted here. And Chengxing is like, really, bro? Anyways, it seems pretty hopeless as the life gets strangled out of them, but as the giant thorns pierce their bodies and their blood mingles together, that mixture of blood activates the heart lamp on a whole new level.
Ooh.
Xiang Shu experiences a magical transformation into the protector martial god, complete with an outfit change. And with this surge of power, he's able to defeat the leader of the Shadow Warriors, one of the 8 princes that Feng Qianyi was trying to resurrect.
Wow.
I think earlier I said there were 7, but yeah, I guess there's 8 of them.
Okay.
8 dead guys who are just really cool. Chengxing does his heart lamp thing and saves Feng Qianzhan again, just in time for him to see Xiang Yu slice his evil older brother in half. Yay! He takes it pretty well, though, all things considering. You know, I think he had come to terms that his brother was committed to the bit. Then they head back to where the Emperor has been commanding the large-scale battle against the Drought Fiends, using his armies to round them up and set them on fire all at once. It must be noted that a lot of soldiers and civilians are dying in this process. Anyone injured by the corpses is infected with poison and doomed to die and turn into the undead themselves, so the Emperor has been very proactive about treating these people no different from the corpses themselves. It's pretty messy.
I see.
Yeah. There's been like a couple of instances where it's like the Emperor isn't necessarily a good or bad guy. Like, he's very nuanced, but he's making choices for, you know, kind of like the greater good or the most logistically easiest thing, where Xiang Shu and Chengxing differ a bit and care more about saving the most people to prevent this kind of situation.
Yeah.
So there's some deviation there. Anyways, the flaming corpses break containment, but Xiang Shu returns just in time, leading the ragtag but loyal Hu people who have been rallied under his command, managing to save the day. It seems that that's where the volume is rounding off. But there's one last conflict that occurs. Murongchang, the beautiful brother of Princess Qing He, who also has an army under his command, has arrived under imperial orders alongside other reinforcements. But all he wants is to avenge his sister, and even the emperor is unable to hold him back from picking a fight with Xiang Shu. The situation escalates, one thing leads to another, and Xiang Shu makes the decision to flee with his subordinates. Chengxing does not hesitate to follow his protector, but where are they going? Now that Chang'an no longer wants them, there is but one place left to go, home, beyond the Great Walls. Although it's technically a retreat, it's a joyful one to Xiang Shu and the Hu people who felt neglected under the Emperor's reign. And that is where the first volume of Dinghai Fusheng Records ends.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Well, it feels like a nice, complete little arc for the first part.
Yeah. Oh, wow, that's a beautiful second cover.
I know. Yeah, I wonder what's going on there.
We love a guy with antlers.
I will be honest, this volume did not hook me quite the way Legend of Exorcism did. Even though they take place in the same universe, Dinghai Fusheng Records does not have as much of a comedic tone or the fluffy romance that Hong Zheng and Li Jinglong have, at least at this point. Right. And personally, the politics between the Hu and the Han sometimes felt a little bit muddled and hard to follow, but I have a feeling that the first volume is just setting the stage for what's to come next. Our protagonists got off on the wrong foot and weren't on the same page for most of the volume, so we have yet to truly experience what their dynamic will be as protector and exorcist. And with the drastic change in location, I can't help but think that the plot in Volume 2 might have a completely different feel. I'm really curious as to what Xiang Shu's homeland is like and what new crisis may await them there, and I'm holding out for more romantic attention as well.
Yeah. I was curious about, like, if the romantic vibe between them was really present or not yet.
It's hard not to compare it to Legend of Exorcism, but it's definitely different.
Okay.
So I feel like it's too soon to judge, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I think Hong Zheng and Li Jinglong are outliers who should not be counted because they are so affectionate so early on.
Yeah.
But this, you gotta hold out a little longer, but it'll be so much juicier. I feel like if Xiang Shu shows a little bit more protectiveness or possessiveness over Chen Xing. And I am really, really excited to see, like, the setting outside of the Great Wall, like, what the grasslands are like, what the Hu people are like. I wonder if it will have a different vibe than the world building that's been set so far. So, yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for another incredible Danmei Book Club. If you guys would like to order a Danmei Book Club shirt or sticker, be sure to head to Kichter.com. And thank you so much for hanging out with us, and we'll see you next time. Bye!